All right, big kids. So now that we're done with our vocabulary study, let's go back and see what else we have. So now we're going to read Jake Drake chapter 4. Now, if you want to skip ahead and work and read on your own, you're welcome to. You can pause the video now and do that. If you'd like to read with me, go ahead and get your book out and turn to page 23, and we can read together. Chapter 4, Hunters. By lunchtime, I had read everything about the science fair. Twice. I was ready to work. Okay, I'm going to pause here for a minute. So by telling us that he read everything about the science fair, and not only did he read it twice, that tells me that these rules, he wanted to make sure that he had them down. They were very important to him. So I waited until just before lunch. I waited until Mrs. Snavin was alone at her desk. Then I went up to her and asked for a library pass for after lunch. I kind of whispered, and when she gave it to me, I hid it in my hand. Okay, now let's look at those clues really quick. He waited until she was alone, and then he whispered that he wanted a library pass, and he hid it. Why do you think he did that? If you're saying that you think that he doesn't want the other kids to know what he's up to, I think you're absolutely right. He's trying to get one past Marcia, huh? And look, but Marcia saw it anyway, because Marcia was watching me like a cat watches a hamster. Well, I like that comparison, like a cat watches a hamster. If you've never seen that before, you know how cats will kind of hunker down and they act like they're getting real wiggly and they're staring at it. And right away, she jumped up and rushed over to the teacher's desk and said, "Mrs. Snavin, a library pass? Could I have one too?" Except Marcia didn't whisper. So 3 seconds later, Kevin also had a library pass, because that's the way it is. And you know that's because that's the way it is. And you have to get used to it. Know-it-alls are usually copycats too. After lunch, the library was full. Well, I'm sorry, let's try that again. After lunch, the library was like a know-it-all convention. Oh, hey, there's that word convention, like a know-it-all meeting. All the smart kids were there, plus all the kids who thought they were smart, plus all the kids who wanted everyone else to think they were smart, plus me. I like how he said plus me, because that's like to say that he's not a know-it-all, and he's not a kid who just thinks he's smart, and he's not a kid that he wants other kids to think that he's smart either. He's just saying that he is smart. I think that's really funny that the author wrote that. We were all there. Everyone wanted a head start. Everyone wanted to win. The only good thing was that not all the kids there were in third grade. Besides me and Marcia and Kevin, there were only 3 other third graders. Oh, so remember that the awards are given out by grade levels. So it doesn't matter if there's a lot of kids there. He only has to beat out the other third graders or the other fourth graders. Oh, wait. The only good thing was that not all the kids there were in third grade. Oh, besides. Okay, cool. So there were only 3 other third graders. So yeah, the other third graders. Okay, cool. And Pete Morris wasn't one of them. I looked out the window and saw Pete. He was out by the bushes near the fence, and he was bending over. He was looking at one of the branches. But my best friend, Willie, was in the library. His real name is Phil, but his last name is Willis. So everyone just calls him Philly, or calls him Willie. Wait a minute, let's try that again. His real name is Phil, but his last name is Willis, so everyone just calls him Willie. Oh, even his teachers. Willie's third grade teacher was Mrs. Fruhl. When Willie saw me, he smiled and came over to my table. "Hey," he said, "isn't it great? I mean, about the computer? I would love to have that thing in my room. Got any good ideas yet? I think I might try to build a bridge or something like that, you know. Something big. How about you? What do you want to do?" But all I said was, "Listen, Willie, I've got to get to work now, okay?" "Sure," said Willie, "but I thought maybe we could be partners. We could make something totally, you know, like totally total." Willie was great at starting sentences. Finishing them was the hard part. I like how he said that too, because it does kind of fall apart at the end, doesn't it? Okay, let's go back. I shook my head. Won't work, Willie. What if we make what if what we make wins first prize? Then what? Willie looked at me like I was nuts. Then we'd have a really cool computer, that's what. We can keep it at your house some of the time and at my house the rest of the time. It'll be great. I shook my head. I don't think so, Willie. I think we better just do our own stuff. So that tells me that Jake does not want to share this computer. He wants to keep it all to himself if he wins. Willie shrugged. Okay, but if I win, I'll still let you use my computer sometimes, okay? Oh, that's a good friend, isn't it? I smiled and said, sure, that'll be great. But inside, to myself, I said, you win the science fair? Forget about it, Willie. That grand prize is mine. Which was not very nice. But when you have to get the right answer, and you have to get it first, and you have to win, then you don't have as much time to be nice anymore. Oh, that's kind of a sad statement, isn't it? When Willie walked away, I looked at the papers about the science fair again. There was a part that said, one moment.
Just a reminder that we have a staff meeting in the library at 9 o'clock. So see you in about 5 minutes.
All right. That was Mrs. March making an announcement. Let's read this sentence again. There was a part that said you couldn't make a project that used fire or acid. For electricity, you could only use batteries, and you couldn't use chemicals that might explode or make smoke. Those rules knocked out a lot of fun stuff right off the list. In the booklet, it said there would be 5 judges, so I tried to think like a science fair judge, but I got tired of that. It was hard enough to think like a 3rd grader. I grabbed my papers and went over to a computer and set that was hooked up to the internet. I sat down, clicked on search, and then typed in science fair projects. In 2 seconds, I got a message. It said 206,996 web pages matched my search, and the first 10 links were on the screen. So I clicked on the link that said Science Fair Helper. Sounded like the right stuff. And it was. It had some good things. So I clicked on the second link, and the second link had some good ideas. It had some good ideas too. And so did the third, and the fourth, and the fifth. Then it hit me. There's probably a good idea on every page, all 206,996 of them. But I didn't need 200,000 ideas. I just needed one. I needed my idea. I like how the author did that. Do you see the word my? See how it's italicized? It's kind of slanting. That's why I read it that way. I needed my idea. It's to give extra emphasis. I felt something behind me. I turned around real quick, and guess what? It was Kevin Young. He had come up right behind me, and he was staring at my screen. He was staring at the screen. My screen. Hey, I said, what are you doing, Kevin? Kevin shrugged. Nothing, I said. Then go do nothing somewhere else. Kevin had red hair, and his face was freckled, and his eyes were real pale blue, and he didn't blink much. Kevin stuck out his chin and said, I can be anywhere I want in the library, and you know it's against the rules to copy a project from the internet. And from around the end of some shelves, suddenly Marcia was standing there next to Kevin. She nodded her head so her ponytail bobbed up and down. Hey, the word bob, remember it went up and down. That's right. What Kevin said about copying, how it's like cheating. Oh, do you see how she always has everything in a question? Remember? So all these old questions. It was hard not to get mad, real mad. But all I said was, what? Do you think I'm stupid? I know not to cheat. Just mind your own business, both of you. You know what things look like right now. It looks like you two are copying ideas from me. That's what it looks like. Excuse me. Ooh, they left, and I was still pretty mad. But when I thought about it later, I felt better about Kevin and Marcia watching out for me. I I was something they weren't so sure about. It made me feel good because if they were worried about me, that meant I was worth worrying about. Well, that's an interesting way of looking at it, isn't it? Oh, look, there they are peeking over his shoulder. Jake said, Jake Drake was something those know-it-alls didn't know about, and they both knew it. Oh, I like that sentence. So they're saying that he's kind of a wild card. They don't know what he's going to do. Ooh, cool. And that's going to leave us chapter 5. So we'll stop here for now. All right. So now that we've gone through here, we're going to go to the Phil Willis page. And remember, that's Willie is what they call him. So the first question, why do you think the title of chapter 4 is Hunters? Well, what were they all? A hunter is somebody that goes and looks for something. What are they all hunting for? So we can maybe write a sentence like that. Remember, you want to start with a complete sentence. So if it's saying, why do you think the title of chapter 4 is Hunters? You'd say, I think the title of chapter 4 is Hunters because, and then you have to tell me why. Why do you think Willie is a hunter? Why or why not? Did it look like Willie was like looking for an idea, or was he just looking to engage and to like have a friend? I don't know. I'll let you do that one. And then down here, provide traits and evidence from chapter 4 to describe Willie. So when we're doing that, what you want to do is you want to come back over here and you're going to look through the part where it talks about Willie and see like what are some of the best words that describe Willie. All right. And then you'll be all set. Cool. And you'll find most of the information as far as the descriptions of Willie on page 24, 25 will probably give you some. And then 26 can give you some ideas too. So we want 4 traits. Remember, when we're talking about traits, we're talking about like what would describe Willie. Like one thing we know about him is that he's friendly, right? Because he wanted to be Jake's he wanted to be his partner. So we could say that he was friendly. And then show in here in the book on where did it show you that he was being friendly. Then you'd write that down below here. Cool. All right, big kids, you're off on your own. See you later.